Hi everyone, and Happy New Year. This is our second take at a Happy New Year's message from Blue Dot Coaching, which is me and my partner Jason Burv. And it's really quite entertaining because the first one I sent out was actually completely muted and we can't figure out why. It's never happened before. And we've actually had quite a few laughs about the fact that 2020 took one more little nip at us with the technological glitch. And I've also had quite a laugh at the fact that it seemed like the universe tried to mute me for just a little bit longer and leave me in the quiet. Because as many of you know, I've had quite the year with head injury and complications and neck injury, and have had to be in the quiet quite a lot. So anyway, on that note, this is another take. We really wanted to reach out and wish everyone a Happy New Year and send a few thoughts about looking ahead and looking back at, retrospective that most of us do at this time of year. And really the meat of what I shared in the first video that I'd like to share again is the idea of non-resistance and how much grace and resilience comes from that. And what I mean by that is this, is that often, whether it's at the new year or at other times of the year, but especially now, we look ahead to what we want in the future. And we look back at what we liked or didn't like about the past year. And we set intentions or goals and maybe resolutions. And we wish each other a Happy New Year, which is lovely. But somehow in all of that, we're just hoping and praying that this next year might be what we want it to be. Maybe that it'll be smooth and a little easier. Certainly this year, after all of us have had really such a challenging year, and in some cases, really, really challenging years. And so that's sort of what I wanted to address, is that while it's perfectly fine to hope for smooth sailing, there's a bit of a trap in that that's worth shedding some light on. And that is that life is rarely smooth. Maybe occasionally we get some stretches of smooth sailing, which is lovely. But on the whole, it's unpredictable and messy. And we never know what's coming up. We know for sure that it's almost never what we expect. Sometimes we get unexpected gifts, and other times we get gobsmacked, if you will, by illness or injury or unspeakable loss, which so many have suffered this year. We never know what's coming at us. And so there's something about hoping it'll be smooth and hoping that none of that difficult stuff will come our way that has in it a feeling of resistance or bracing. And I don't think it's very helpful. And it's actually one of the things that has been the biggest learning for me from this past year of challenge, is that there's such a gift in being able to just be present with whatever is coming up for us in the moment. And whatever's coming up can be what's coming up on the inside for us in terms of thought and emotion or inner experience, or it can be on the outside in terms of what the world might be throwing at us. And usually it's at the intersection or the interplay of both of those things. And our lives unfold in the messiness of that interplay. And that's exactly how it is and how it's supposed to be. And none of us really escapes that. And so there's something about being willing to be present and aware of exactly what's present for us in the moment, what's alive for us in the moment, and be willing to neither resist it nor go whole hog throwing fuel on the fire with thoughts that might make the experience even bigger. Thoughts about why is this happening, or poor me, or I wish it hadn't happened, or how long is it going to last, or whatever, the things that we all do that really increase our suffering. Sorry about the background noise. My dog is choosing to play with his bone right now, which is something I'm not going to resist or worry about, but I hope you can still hear. Hello, Skipper. So in looking ahead to the new year, it's something that I would wish for, to continue to experience for myself, but also something I would wish for others, for all of you, is the ability to not worry about what may be coming our way, to not worry about whether this new year is happy or whether it's smooth or if it's easier than 2020, but to know that in the capacity to be present with both really pleasant things and also with really uncomfortable things, there's incredible resilience and grace in that, and also really a lot of hope that we are strong enough to deal with all of it, to take in the gifts when they come, and to know that those gifts don't only come in the easy times, that actually sometimes the greatest gifts for us humans really come in the hard times, even if those hard times, or especially if those hard times mean so much challenge and so much suffering. And so one last thought is that to be fully aware and sort of unflinchingly honest about what it is exactly that we're experiencing. And then there's one more layer, which is to be really kind to ourselves, to be really loving with however we're experiencing the moment, to not have to judge that. Excuse me 1 second. Have the dog bone. So not to have to judge ourselves for how we're handling whatever the moment is, not to judge ourselves because we're sad or angry or struggling or depressed or having anxious thinking. Because I think often we put an enormous amount of pressure on ourselves to somehow have to get it right. That if we were enlightened enough, so to speak, if we really get it, if we worked on it hard enough, if we were whatever the person we wanted to be, that for some reason that means that we wouldn't have to experience the not so pleasant things that we might be in the moment. And none of that is true, and it leads us to a form of self-judgment and resistance that honestly just makes those experiences last longer and be deeper and less pleasant. Whereas if we can again have that unflinching honesty and full presence and awareness, and combine that with a kindness to ourselves about however we're handling things, whatever's coming up, that is all we need to do. That's it. That's the whole package. And so knowing that we're capable of that, every one of us is capable of that, it's really just a thought away, it's right there for each of us, then we don't have to worry about what this new year brings. And we know that whatever it brings, it can be rich and interesting and beautiful and messy, and that's all okay, and that we can handle it. And so rather than wishing you a happy new year, I will simply wish you a resilient new year, a rich, interesting, beautiful, resilient new year.